Hey everyone, it's Tina here, and I have a couple of tips for you today. So, today I want to talk about how to create curiosity. Now, most people, when I first got started, the thing you're taught to do is making a names list, cold calling, cold messaging, all this crazy stuff, right? And early on, I learned that who reaches out to who is extremely important. Who reaches out to who first is kind of the name of the game. If you're the one with a product reaching out to a customer first, then they're going to put up the walls, right? No one likes to be sold to. Everyone loves to buy, but no one likes to be sold to. It's the example of when you walk into a store and someone's like, "Hey, can I help you with something?" Most people are like, "Oh, I'm just looking around," right? People don't like to feel pressured. And so what you want to do is be that storefront person who waits for the customer to approach you with a question, right? So, because when they're reaching out to you first, if they talk to you first, then now you're in a position of being someone who's helpful rather than someone who's trying to sell something. You're just a person who's being helpful, okay? So, because of that, because who reaches out to who first is so important, the key is to learn how to create curiosity. Instead of going out there and cold messaging people, cold calling people, and telling them about your amazing products and your amazing company, instead of that, you want to create curiosity so that people are contacting you first. Okay, when people contact you first, they're seeking more information. It's not you pushing your information on them or pushing any ideas on them. They're actually, the posturing is just completely different. Okay, so then the question is, well, how do you create curiosity? And that comes down to storytelling. Okay, because we all know facts tell, but stories sell. There's a reason why we as human beings, we tell stories around the campfire, right? If we were to tell facts to each other, we don't remember facts because facts are boring. But stories get passed down from generation to generation because usually stories are easier to remember. There's usually like a moral with a story. And that's just as human beings, we like stories. So what you need to do, what you need to have is you need to have a product story and you need to have a business story. Now, it doesn't have to be some like epic story. All I'm saying is that you need to have a before using the product and a after using the product. You need to have people in your company where they're in a situation before being in the business and after being in the business. So what I mean by that is you want your story to be relevant to the people that you're talking to. So take your products, for example, and think about what problems do they solve? Or what problem did you have before using your product, right? What is your story? What is your relationship with using the products? For example, maybe you lacked energy, maybe you lacked focus. And then after consuming or using your product, now you have amazing energy that you can run around and keep up with the kids. You can do all these tasks around the house. You can sit down and focus on your work and get a shit ton of productivity done, right? That could be a story. And depending on your story, that's going to relate to the people you talk to. So for example, let's say you're a student. You have a final coming up. You can't sit down, you can't study for whatever reason, and you always wait till it's like 10 p.m. and you start writing that paper or something like that, right? And then you talk about how you started using this product. It helps you really focus. It helps you block out the distractions. It helps you with, just focus. And you're able to just sit down and within 8 minutes, you're able to start writing on that paper where you were never able to do that before. If you share that story without even mentioning what the product is, you just say, I started taking this crazy ass drink and now I can just sit down and get to work. Chances are people in your network are also going to be students, right? They're going to be thinking, oh my gosh, what is Tina drinking? Or what pills is she using? Or what is this magic thing that she's doing that's allowing her to sit down and write her paper when here I am, it's 9 p.m. and I haven't even started, right? That's how you create curiosity. You talk about the pain points and the benefits, but you don't talk about how like this pill has like 27 ingredients and it's like patent pending, and those are facts, right? You want to talk about the storyline of how there was a problem and then your product is able to provide a solution to that problem, but like wrapped around in your life. Does that make sense? So that's an example of a product story. You want to start thinking about what things were you able to overcome by using the product. And there's like crazy stuff, like let's say I know someone, for example, her son had like issues with child support, something like that, right? And so she signed up for her company, and her company offers legal services, and so her son was able to benefit from legal services from a crazy ex who was trying to claim like child support or something, okay? So now she helps other people with legal issues through her company. So that's like a story that you can share, right? It's very memorable when you talk about a situation you're in and how it helped you, how you were able to solve it, how your product or service was able to solve it, rather than saying we offer legal services. Okay, another example is like this woman I know. Her children were really constipated. Like she tried every method out there. She tried like prune juice, she tried water, fiber, like crazy powders, all these things. And no matter what she tried, her kids were constipated, and it was a terrible problem that she couldn't solve until she started using a product that a friend recommended, and then immediately within 7 days, constipation done, solved forever, right? Her children can now have regular bowel movements. So that's an example of how, her kids are suffering from not being able to go number 2, and then how she tried all these things, and then finally she was able to use this product that allowed her kids to go. And so imagine if you have that same problem and you hear about this story and you tried those same exact things and it didn't work for you, that's going to appeal to you, and you're going to reach out and be like, what the heck did you use? I need to know because I'm having the same issue. Okay, so that's a product story. That's how you create curiosity. Next, you also need a business story. So talk about, the problems that the opportunity helped you solve. Okay, talk about, and a lot of people come to me and they're like, what do you do if you don't have any like crazy results? What if you're not earning like 6 figures? It's not very impressive. But here's the thing, you don't need results necessarily. You just need to talk about the issues that you had. And here's a secret that I like to share is use your occupation. So talk about the struggles of your occupation, of maybe you're like a realtor, and talk about how you have to do all these like open houses, you're basically doing all this work and you don't know if you're going to get paid or not, right? Realtors usually have to go months and months without getting paid, and they sell a house on that 3rd month and they get a whole bunch of influx of money, but then they can go the next couple months without any income coming in. So there's no consistency, there's no stability. It's really scary when you're starting the month and you have no idea how much you're going to make that month, right? So talk about those struggles of how terrifying it is, how it would keep you up at night, how you're only as good as your last listing, how you're grinding away, you're on your phone 24/7, not knowing when a sale is actually going to go through. Okay, so talk about the pain of that, and then talk about how, but now you're so excited about this opportunity that will allow you to have residual income, to have regular paychecks coming in, whether you work or you don't, right? It's just more consistency. And so that's how you can really speak to the pains of where someone is and offer your opportunity as a solution to that painful problem that people are going through. Okay, so that's an example of storytelling. You don't want to be like, my opportunity is so great, there's residual income, there's this compensation plan. We were founded in 2018, so we're a ground floor opportunity. Like those are facts. That doesn't do any telling. Okay, when you approach people with that and that's what you're saying to people, their walls go up, right? But if you're telling a story of how you were this teacher and you had to save all this money because you knew in the summer months you weren't going to be getting paid, and how it was a constant cycle of every year being short in those summer months because you had no income coming in. I don't know, I'm making this up, right? Cater it to your occupation or whatever world you're familiar with, right? Whether maybe you're a stay-at-home parent, maybe you're a student, maybe you're in like HR, maybe you're in corporate world. There are problems, I guarantee you, there are problems in every profession. Find what those pain points are, and then talk about how the benefit of the opportunity in story format. So I hope that's helpful, and that's way more effective. And if you do that consistently, you're going to create curiosity. You're going to have people reach out to you asking, can you tell me more about this? Or what exactly is it that you do? And those questions are magic, you guys. Like, you want people asking, what is it that you do? That phrase is like the golden question. So for that reason, what I recommend and what I always recommend all of my clients to do is don't have your company products, labels, logos, don't have any of that publicly on your page, right? Because the last thing you want people to do is if you say, maybe on your profile you have like independent distributor for and then company name, people can just Google that and then their curiosity is done, right? It's been satisfied. But if you don't have that, then it forces people to ask you like, hey, Tina, what are you up to? Or what business have you started, right? And that is the golden question when people are reaching out to you, because it allows you to then talk about your business, right? Instead of you. Again, who reaches out to who first is so important. And so that's why when I see people and they're posting about their products, their company, I'm like, no, like, people are going to do their own research, and sometimes they're going to stumble upon like another distributor, buy through their links, and you're going to lose that sale. You're going to lose that business partner. Okay, so that is the key. You want to learn how to create curiosity. And the way you do that is through stories. Now, the last thing that I want to add is do not add a call to action. And I know that sounds so counterintuitive. What is a call to action? Basically, after you share your story, maybe you're sharing it on like Facebook or something, don't have something at the bottom of your story that says, for more information, click here, or click this link to start purchasing, or reach out to me, or DM me, or leave a comment. Well, I guess leave a comment. Engagement's okay, but don't have a call to action where you tell people to reach out to you. And you might be like, what? Isn't that the point of all of this? And the reason why you don't want to is because the moment that you do that, the moment you add a product link or a company link, or you ask them to reach out to you, the moment you do that, the post comes across as being a sales pitch, right? So people, no matter how good the content is, people are going to think, oh, okay, that's what the agenda of sharing the story is that this is another one of those things where it's just a sales pitch, right? That's not what you want to do. Instead, leave out the call to action, just share your story, and if you do this enough consistently, like once a week, that's not even that hard, right? Once a week, over time, people are going to be like, okay, I have to know. I have to know what this is, right? And it doesn't create that sense of, okay, Tina's doing this because her agenda is she just wants sales, right? So those are my tips today for how to create curiosity, how to tell your story. Make sure that you have a product story and you have a business story. If you don't have results at all, if you don't have your own product or business a result, what you can do is just leverage other people's stories. So look to your upline, look to the leaders, look to the testimonials within your company, and share other people's stories. Like, oh my gosh, my friend, I don't know, April, she had constipation issues, she started using this, and now this, right? She doesn't think about what her diet looks like. She doesn't think about fiber pills that she needs to take, whatever it may be, right? So apply that to your own situation, your own products, your own business, and start just posting, telling your story, and chances are, here's another last tip. If you achieved many benefits from a product, okay, so for example, let's say you achieved weight loss, focus, energy, what else? Okay, those are 3 things. You don't want to create a story that talks about how you achieved weight loss, focus, and energy, okay? You want a story for each specific benefit. Each benefit is its own story. Okay, so this is my weight loss story. Like, I used to, after college, I put on some pounds. It really affected the way that I saw myself. I hated taking pictures, all these things. I started taking this product, and now I'm seeing the weight drop a pound a week, like much faster. I'm starting to feel more confident. I can't wait to see where this takes me. Okay, so that's one story. And that's just the weight loss aspect of it. Maybe you also got focus from the same product. Then you talk about how you used to procrastinate all the time, or like you couldn't do this and that. So that's a second story. And then the third benefit, what was it? Energy. Okay, so don't lump it all together into one story. You want to have separate stories, because those individual stories are going to speak to different people at different times in their lives. Some people might have a weight loss problem, but not necessarily a focus problem. Okay, so every time you share a story, you want to tap into each of those problems and those benefits, because it's going to resonate with someone different every time. Okay, and so that's how you have different angles. That's how you have content that can reach all those people, different types of people. Okay, so I hope that helps. Well, that's it for today's post. I'll see you guys next week.